James Neeley is a software developer here in town and is here to tell you a story called My Velvet Coat.
Hello everyone, my name is James. This is my velvet coat, and this is the story of my velvet coat. This is my favorite article of clothing. It's like a suit of armor. When I put it on, I feel invincible when I go out. But this wasn't always the case. I acquired this coat about 3 years ago, a little less. And it was a very sad time in my life. I had recently broken up with a girlfriend at the time, and there were a number of reasons that it didn't work out for us. But one of the primary ones, the salient one for me, was that she wasn't attracted to me. And that's rough, and it feels awful, but it's completely fair. I never held it against her, but at that point in my life, I was feeling very undesirable. Around that time, a couple of friends of mine had a murder mystery party. Now, I had been to one of these before, and at the time they had like a murder at the gin joint, and it was a speakeasy theme from the 1930s, and it had gone as Muggsy Malone. It had a big black trench coat and a fedora, and I just grunted at everybody, and it felt great. So I was excited about this. I was going to go to this one. Now, this one was themed after a Las Vegas murder. And if you don't know, the way these things work is if you sign up for this murder mystery dinner, they give you this little package, and they give you like a number of people that you can invite, and they assign a role to each person. So they send that out to that person in advance, and then they get an idea for what their objectives are for the night. And when they gave me my objective, I was Ronald Trump, a multi-millionaire Vegas mogul, all right? And I was excited for this. I was going to jump into the role. So, first thing I had in mind was I was going to put on like a white tuxedo suit with a gold shirt, and I was going to have gold chains and gold rings, and I was going to poof up my hair. And this was before the man, the aspiring politician, had his political ambitions, and I just really knew him as a like professional jackass. So I decide I'm going to do this, and I call up my friends Dana and Brennan, and I'm going to get a costume for this party, but I'm not going to wear it beyond that. So I decide to go to the local thrift store, and I go looking around for this thing, and I can't find a white suit. So I'm looking at dress shirts, and then Dana comes up to me and she says, "Well, what about this?" And she presents me with this velvet coat. And so I go into the dressing room and try it on. And it's a little sleazy, but I like it. It's nice, it fits, it feels like it's good. And with an oversized lime green shirt with a giant pop collar and fake plastic rings and jewelry and the hair and everything, and a big, deep, booming voice, and I'm like, "Hey, you Donald Trump." You know, it's a great deal. So I decide to go and wear this, and I go and I show up for this murder mystery party. And whatever you think of the man or his politics, it is fun as hell to play him for a night. And it was fantastic. I went around and they gave me like little plastic money to bribe people, and I just like threw it around, and I was like, "It's Vegas, baby!" And I had these big sunglasses, and I was just a total loudmouth blowhard for the whole night. But it felt great. I don't remember who won that night, or who was the murderer, or who was killed, or I thought I was going to be killed, because why wouldn't you? But at the end of the night, I got a little certificate, and it was the Best Dressed Award. It was awarded to me, and I felt great. I felt fantastic. I felt so great that I continued to wear this coat for a while afterward. And what I would do is I would wear something like what I'm wearing now, like a dress shirt and maybe a tie, always a little bit more formal than the occasion I'm required for. So I would like go out and I would go to like the grocery store dressed up like this.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of positive reception. I started to feel like myself. And over the next year or so, I really had kind of a personal renaissance. And the more outlandish and the more pompous I dressed, the more people responded to me. And the more I felt a little bit of my own privilege, so to speak. You know, and it occurred to me after some time, after going out and getting this positive feedback, time after time, that like being a white male in his 30s, dressed in a suit with a tie, is probably the least intimidating form of person out there. And that's not fair. I felt a little bad for it, but I resolved that the way that I would reconcile this, for me, was to be as cheerful and as polite and just as friendly as everybody to everybody that I could be, and just be a jovial person. And this is the way that I would reconcile the world giving me a privilege that I didn't deserve, was to just spread as much joy as I could. And I joined a meetup afterwards. I remember I wore this velvet coat the first time I went to the meetup, and I made a lot of friends that night. And a lot of those friends I still have to this day. And a lot of sorry, bear with me. At some point, not too long ago, the organizers of those meetup stepped down, and they asked me to take over. And so now I have a little meetup. And I don't know who got rid of this coat or why. Maybe it just wasn't stylish for them. But when I'm wearing it, I feel great. And I feel like I found myself. And wherever they are, I'd like to thank them, because when they gave up this coat and I picked it up, I felt like I found myself. Thank you guys for listening to my story.